Gaming Bolt presents 15 scariest video game moments in the modern era. From being stalked by an invincible, malevolent creature to the sheer terror of isolation, horror games can provide us with some truly scary looks into the human psyche in an interactive way. Now, they say everything has been done before, but so many lists choose to celebrate the Resident Evils and Silent Hill 2 that we wanted to shine a light on the most terrifying modern moments in horror titles. The only rule is, the game has to be playable on modern hardware. Beware ye who continue with us on this journey, and spoilers ahead. PT. Seeing Lisa for the first time. Nobody was even quite sure what PT was, or what was going on at first, so the creepy atmosphere, abandoned house, radio spouting strange stories about murders, and some really disturbing imagery in the sink was creepy enough. But the single moment that would put the playable teaser over the top and onto this list would be the first time we encountered Lisa, the horrid specter that stalks the player and restarts the game if they make the wrong move. Heavy Rain, PS4, Ethan's finger scene. David Cage certainly made us feel some emotions, but with the finger scene in Heavy Rain, we saw some disturbing stuff. Ethan, forced to play the Origami Killer's game to save his son Jason, is asked to hack off one of his fingers himself. The body horror of the situation, with the desperation to save his son, really made us feel the fear of the moment. The Evil Within, Laura's first encounter. Shinji Mikami is synonymous with the horror genre for a reason, and The Evil Within's first encounter with Laura really shows off why. The hospital you've been exploring hasn't exactly been the most safe, but the multi-limbed spider-like woman explodes from a pool of blood, screaming and indestructible, and apparently very hard to lose, even impossibly appearing behind you from within an elevator. It's classic terror from the maestro himself. Alien Isolation, getting caught by an alien. A superpowered would-be attacker that you have no way to defend yourself from, let alone understand, would strike fear into anyone's heart, and even more so when that attacker happens to be an intimidating xenomorph who could come from anywhere at any time. The dance between the player and the alien is just to build up to the scary payoff of when, and it is a question of when, the alien catches you. That climax is what takes a dot on your motion detector and ends up giving you heart palpitations. Playing Resident Evil 7 in VR. The large appeal of virtual reality comes from the fact that it's so immersive and transportive. Even the most basic, overplayed cliches can feel so much more frightening when we can trick our brains into thinking that we're there. Resident Evil 7 is a scary game on its own, but the first time we saw the game in VR is when it elevated to a whole new, pants-changing level. Batman Arkham Knight. Batman loses himself. Losing control of yourself is a primal human fear, and the central reason zombies are so enduring. Batman struggles with the Joker virus throughout Arkham Knight, threatening to turn the otherwise super disciplined Batman into an unstoppable criminal force. When it gets bad enough that Batman begins to see Joker in random objects, even if Batman doesn't outwardly show his fear, we see his concern through his actions, and we get that same feeling of being taken over by something else, something frightening.
than the creep who killed your parents. You need to do something. You need to stop him. Good.
Until Dawn, Josh's fate. Around the climax of Until Dawn, Josh, one of the central characters and probably the most damaged of the group, becomes stuck in a mine and cut off from all contact with the outside world and the people he cared about, triggering his psychosis. His guilt over the deaths of his twin sisters, deep fear about being alone, and the darkness of the cave come together to show us a mind unraveling in some twisted ways.
You're not real.
You were all alone down there.
No.
All alone. But you're with us now. Family.
Get away! Get away from me! Get away! I don't take orders from you. No!
Is this what you want?
No! No! Why are you doing this? Leave me alone! Why are you doing this?
Why did you save us, Josh? Why did you want us to die?
Little Nightmares, the Janitor. In the world of Little Nightmares that player character 6 explores, the character of the Janitor is a big nightmare. A grotesque figure with spindly arms and tiny legs, with a face that melted his eyes shut. Just the sight alone is frightening. But when the Janitor is actively reaching out to search for 6, the pressure seriously builds. The Last of Us Remastered, encountering a clicker for the very first time. We join the world of The Last of Us well after most of the world has gone to hell under a cordyceps-based fungal infection that zombifies people and progresses over many years into different forms. Joel's first early encounters with the clickers, the second stage of development which sees via echolocation and can easily end your run if they grab you, stalk through the halls of a collapsed office building. After they grab you for the first time or two, you'll dread hearing their telltale clicks and fear the screech when they become aggroed. Layers of Fear, the Child's Room. Layers of Fear is pretty layered in its messaging, but the repeated instances of the Child's Room throughout the game and the messed up things that happen within paint the most disturbing picture. The nature of the game even alters what the player sees, leaving the player to question what happened to the child that was once there and what the player did to them, instilling the fear of the unknown. Gears of War Ultimate Edition, the first Berserker. The decidedly more dire, almost horror tone of the first Gears of War game was most distinctly felt with the first encounter with the terrifying Berserker. Unable to be killed through conventional means, and locked within the close quarters of a once important building, Marcus and Delta Squad are forced to essentially bullfight an angry steam engine with the power to mulch them with its running force. The series took a hard action turn after the first game, which gives the first title an almost unique flavor even today.
A berserker. She can hear us. She can smell us.
Get out of here. We gotta get fucking out of here, man.
Oh my God. Control, this is Delta. We have a berserker in the vicinity. Please advise.
Hold your fire, Delta. Standard weapons won't work. Do you still have the Hammer of Dawn?
Affirmative, Control.
You've only got minutes of satellite coverage. Get her outside and use the hammer. That's the only thing that'll work.
Wilco, Delta out. All right, guys, sit tight. We came here to help you, and that's what we're gonna do. Dom, let's go.
The Walking Dead Season 1, Eating with Cannibals. Telltale's The Walking Dead first asked us to walk a thin gray line with Season 1, and one of the most tense situations the game put you in was when your group was holed up with a dairy farming couple with something to hide. When a member of your group is wounded and left in their care, suspicions arise when he's not invited to the dinner table. Lee will soon discover that the main course is the legs of the missing group member, and things escalate when the cannibals capture the group for their food. Dying Light, first ever volatile chase. In the world of Dying Light, the night is not a very friendly time. The Volatile is a special type of zombie that can match the player's speed and parkour abilities, with a terrifying attack power that can kill the player in a hit or two. The first time you're chased down by one of the fearsome Volatiles as a low-level, weak player without a way to defend themselves besides getting to a safe house is not a moment you'll soon forget.
Jade, I'm at the airdrop. There's no antis in here.
Done? Fuck! All right, get back here and be careful. The nightmares are awake. Don't let them see you.
Oh, shit. They must have heard me.
Bloodborne, the entire OST. Bloodborne is just creepy throughout, but the defining moment of your journey through Yharnam comes from the first moment that haunting soundtrack kicked in. The melancholy strings and chorus that echo through the pitched battles is exactly what sells the mood and terrifying setting of Bloodborne. Amnesia, The Dark Descent, PS4. Seeing a Gatherer for the first time. As Daniel explores the abode of Alexander of Brandenburg in Amnesia, The Dark Descent, he'll first come across one of the terrifying Gathers, servants of Alexander's and abominations that can lower Daniel's sanity just by viewing their twisted forms. In the archives, unable to be killed, you can only run or hide when you hear the telltale roars that signal they are on the hunt.
And that about does it for this video. If you enjoyed what you watched and want to see more from Gaming Bolt, you can always hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon next to it. That way you will never miss any of our videos.